Hey, welcome to the One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute with your host, the alchemist of Indiana's Black Forest, Alan Bishop. Hey, this channel is all about home distilling and legal distilling. If you've got questions, reach out to us in the comments below, social media, or via bishopshomegrown@gmail.com. And don't forget to check out thealchemistcabinet.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? As you saw in the last video, I don't have much of a voice, and you can tell I'm taking the Axl Rose treatment to take care of it here, so I do apologize. Been working in the garden a lot. The garden has gone insane this year. If you guys are farmers and gardeners, you're interested in sustainable gardening to the best of your ability, I'm not even saying organically certified, because we do use traditional conventional fertilizers and organic fertilizers, but we also don't spray anything on our plants other than occasionally a little bit of neem oil. Otherwise completely organic. But the garden this year has kicked my ass. But if you are interested in that sort of stuff, one thing I wanted to tell you guys, look into, you know, we all know that we kind of live in a world where on some level, at multiple levels, from multiple different human agencies, we are being lied to about the way the world really works, and all the hidden aspects of alchemy in the world around us that we've lost as humankind, as we've gotten lazier, as life has gotten quote-unquote easier, and now we're going in reverse because food's getting higher, housing's getting higher, everything's getting crazy expensive, the dollar's losing its place in the world, etc. It doesn't matter what you believe. Look into electroculture gardening. I'll tell you what, I've seen enough of it this year off of the 30 or so electroculture antennas I've got in that garden that I will never not do it. It's fantastic. This little voice thing, I feel completely fine. It's I'm allergic to the I guess the powdery mildew that's on bean vines, and every time I get into beans and green beans, this shit happens to me. But you know, I also have the advantage of being able to can our own green beans, so I plant and harvest everything, and Miss Kim, she cans it all up, and we've got a pretty good fucking pantry. We're ready if things get bad, and that's more than I can say for a lot of people that I know. So learn how to garden. When you learn how to garden, learn how to save seeds. And when you learn how to garden, you learn how to save seeds, learn how to can and preserve, because it's going to be important. In our lifetime, I think it'll be just as important as it was to our great-grandparents and our great-great-grandparents before this whole thing is said and done in the world. Anyways, moving into some actual questions about distillation. And as always, if you have any questions, reach out to me, bishopshomegrown@gmail.com, YouTube comments below, and or any of my social media. And also be sure you go to thealchemistcabinet.com, the warehouse, and you can check out our books and our DVDs there. The Alchemist Cabinet Volume 1 and Volume 2 are both available. I think you'll enjoy them. I think you'll learn a lot from them. For those of you who have already purchased them, thank you very, very much for your support. I know sometimes it takes us a while to get those to you. It's because we're waiting on them to come to us from the printer, and then I have to sign them and everything. So I do apologize sometimes for the delay, but nonetheless, thank you guys. Volume 3 is coming. I am going to be working on that this fall. It's going to have a lot more recipes in it. It's going to have a lot more methodology in it. I'm going to focus a lot on agave spirits, a lot on apple spirits, and then I'm also going to go a lot more into the spirituality, because as you know from following my channel or following One Piece at a Time, Sacred and Profane on Spotify, or if you have Ghost, You Have Everything podcast, wherever you get your podcast, or even listening to Distiller's Talk, spirituality and distillation for me, one and the same. Same with music, same with agriculture. So I've now gotten this audience, I believe, to the point where it's okay to cross some of those things over here and there. But great question here today. So from Tyler Sell. I'm a huge fan of your work, the Esoteric Podcast, your YouTube channel, the Absinthe, the Victorian Barroom, which is awesome. My brother Brian Cushing and his wife Amy, who I love dearly. If you guys are not familiar with the Victorian Barroom, go over there and subscribe right now. You will not regret it. Brian focuses on Victorian era cocktails and bar culture, and the dude knows his shit. He makes his own clothes, guys, legitimately. Brian does not wear modern clothes. He makes his clothes based on Victorian era and earlier patents. And he's a fantastic artisan at pretty much everything he does, and one of my very, very best friends. I'm a tinker of sorts and usually only stick to making brandy, but have recently decided to get into grain and would like your thoughts on this mash bill for a small batch. 7.5 pounds of peat smoked barley malt, 3 pounds of flaked corn, 2 pounds of golden naked oat malt, 5 gallons of West Virginia spring water. I'll be using Angel Yeast Yellow Label to convert and ferment with. I'd appreciate any and all constructive criticisms. That's a pretty cool mash bill, and I'm glad to see that somebody else is using the Angel Yellow Label yeast. As you probably know from watching the channel, I have done experiments with it, and I've been very impressed by it. It's not the most efficient fermenter in the world, either in terms of time and or terms of yield, but it does make a good quality spirit. And if you're making a lazy man's mash and you want to skip some steps that are normally there that you need to go through, it's fantastic. It takes a little while to get to you. If you order it from Amazon, it might take it a couple months, but there'll never be a time that I don't have at least a package or two of that laying around for lazy man projects. Absolutely. As far as the mash bill, I think it looks pretty cool. So I don't know what kind of peat you're using for that barley malt, or if you're smoking your own or if you're buying it. And I don't know what you were going for, but to me, when I think peat, I want that heavy, heavy, heavy Laphroaig style peat, right? High parts per million, powerful, smack you upside the head. But I do also like Irish style peat. You get a little more fruitiness off of it, it's a little more nimble on its feet, I guess you would say. So look in that direction. I see that you're using the Golden Naked Oat Malt. I love oat malt. It gives a nice nuttiness, a great creamy mouthfeel, full palate experience. I think you're right on with that. The 3 pounds of flake corn, I might stay away from that. And here's why I would say that. So it's great for bulk alcohol, right? It's even great for bourbon or whatever, but it doesn't have a lot of flavor and characteristic of its own. It's just kind of sweet. If I were going to change anything in your mash bill here, it would be that. And what I would change that to is go get you just some white grain rice and grind that down when you do this mash in, and use that rice. That rice is going to give some more mouthfeel, just like the oats do. It's going to give some sweetness, but it's also going to bring a little earthiness through. And I think it'll really accentuate what you're trying to do. The only other thing that I might throw in there just for fun, on a very small scale, so I'd switch out your 3 pounds of flake corn for, say, let's call it 2.5 pounds of flake corn, and maybe take that extra half pound and do some rye. That way you can get maybe a little floral, lavender sort of aroma, maybe get a little bit of even that herbaceous kind of going into eucalyptus, going into horehound candy sort of characteristic in the background, and I think you'd have something really complex and really, really enjoyable. And in fact, now that I've said that out loud, I kind of want to take the mash bill that you just put on here and do what I just said to it, because I'm curious what it would do. I don't know if I have all that stuff laying around, so it probably won't happen right now, but one of these days I'll make it. Nonetheless, when you make this, you let me know how it turns out. Let me know if you use my advice or not. If not, it's not going to hurt my feelings. What you got here will be good, I guarantee it. I'm just always trying to think of that way to make it more complex as it goes. And if you really want to go with some complexity with that, if you can find, I don't think Bad Motivator does French oak yet that I know of, but I know 1030 Barrels does French oak. See if you can find you some French oak, because that'll bring some spiciness to the game, and some baking spices to the game that I think you'll really enjoy with that particular style of mash bill. So, alright guys, I love y'all. I'll catch you soon.